Glen is with us. Hello, Glen.
G'day, how are you, Pete?
Not too bad. And how are you been, Glen?
I've been fairly well, thank you.
That's good.
And I just wanted to bring to your attention and to the attention of your listeners a news story that happened last week and this week that virtually no one has covered, okay?
Okay.
Up in, just out from Toowoomba, there is a little town called Malman, which has got a coal-fired power station, okay?
Yes.
What they wanted to do was to install carbon capture and storage, okay? And the master plan was to pipe it into the Great Artesian Basin, which is a body of water that stretches from underground, from Queensland through New South Wales, across parts of the Northern Territory and parts of South Australia, okay? Now, what the trial was supposed to do was to turn their carbon emissions into an aqueous solution, which would then be pumped into the Great Artesian Basin, okay? Now, they planned on pumping between 330 to 380,000 tonnes of this solution into the basin, which would, as geologists have told us, would leach the rocks inside the basin, and there'd be a marked increase in lead and arsenic in the water. Okay? Pauline Hanson, give her a due, she stood up in Parliament in the Senate and she moved a motion to block the trial until proper ecological and environmental studies had taken place.
Which is understandable.
The only people that were against the motion were the Labor Party.
Okay, so what was the reasons why the Labor Party were against it?
Because it doesn't, well, as far as I can work out, they voted against it because they want the air pollution reduced in Australia, and it would not give them like greener power should all the renewables fail and we've got no baseline power. So what they were doing is they were prepared to trade air pollution for the quality of the water in the basin, and that basin water is mainly the water that would be supplied to very outback communities that they're in their bore water, so they wouldn't be able to water stock with it, they wouldn't be able to grow veggies with it because it would have increased levels of arsenic and lead in the water.
Yes, it would be fairly useless.
It would be fairly useless water, and in some instances, it is their only supply of water for a whole town or a whole village.
Yeah, makes it hard.
Makes it very, very hard, and I just think that Pauline Hanson, and some of us don't particularly like Pauline, but I think she puts Australia first, and she's put the motion up where it really, really mattered, and she took a lot of heat in the House when she put the motion, and I think she should get a big pat on the back from all of us.
Yeah, okay. Was there any solutions to a motion, or not really?
Well, the motion passed. The power station has been put on hold. They're not to try until we have further investigation on their processes.
Yep. Well, I think that's fair as well, don't you?
I think that's perfectly fair. But as for trading off air pollution against a water supply which supplies virtually half of Australia, because the Great Artesian Basin, if people don't understand it, it's a body of water that's deep underground underneath the east coast of Australia and would take up about 134,000 times the capacity of Sydney Harbour.
Yes, which is pretty massive, isn't it?
It's pretty massive.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like I also hear on the news, like I call it misinformation from our federal government. There's an ad going around about what they're going to do for the Murray-Darling Basin system, and if they really wanted to improve the Murray-Darling, why didn't they build Hell's Gate Dam and then pump Hell's Gate Dam into the giant Artesian Basin and suck it out down the bottom, and it'll save the cost of all the pipelines.
Yeah, look, I don't know if they have any solutions for the Murray-Darling. I think the whole thing's a dog's breakfast, don't you?
Well, when I see it, I call it misinformation. They say if we don't do something about the water, it will be our food security is at risk, and I think that their solution is to take irrigation rights away from farmers and turn it back to natural flows, which jeopardises our food production anyway.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the last thing we want. All right, mate. Well, Glenn, thank you very much for letting us know about all that, particularly what happened there with Pauline Hanson in Parliament raising that motion. And I think it's fair enough. I mean, they've got to do all the right things and do all the processes right there when it comes to, contamination of water and whatever, which I fully understand. Good on you, mate. Good call. Open line number 13 12 69. Feel free to give us a call if you'd like to change the subject. Maybe there's something on your mind that you'd also